In statistics, there are multiple types of data. Many times the distinction between one or another can be very small, but it is important. So you need to know the difference between different kinds of data. So let's start off with the most basic kinds. First, we have a parameter. And a parameter is a numerical measurement describing some characteristic of a population. So parameter and population are grouped together. Whereas a statistic is a numerical measurement describing some characteristic of a sample. So statistic and sample are grouped together. So what's the difference between the two? Well, a population is an entire group, whereas a sample is just a part of the group. Again, let's break it down a little bit more and see some specific examples. So a parameter would be every one of the players of a specific sports team or all of your classmates in a specific class. Whereas a statistic would just be a couple of the players on that sports team or a couple of your classmates from a specific class. So parameter is all for a population, where a statistic is a few or a couple from a sample. Next, we have quantitative data, and this just consists of numbers representing counts or measurements. And then we have categorical or qualitative data, and this just consists of names or labels that are not numbers representing counts or measurements. So again, what does that mean? Well, let's look at what quantitative data is. Quantitative data would be something like the ages in years of people you surveyed, or the heights of students in some random classroom. Categorical data or qualitative data would be a political party affiliation or jersey numbers on a sports team. Names or labels, not specifically numbers representing counts or measurements. Quantitative is what would be numbers that represent counts or measurements, whereas categorical and qualitative is just names or labels. Finally, we have discrete data, and this is the number of possible values that is finite, or what we call countable. Whereas continuous data is infinitely many possible values that correspond to some continuous scale, or what is easier to understand as a measurable amount. So let's look at the two. Discrete data would be the number of people in a room, or the number of cars in a parking lot. You can't subdivide them. They're either as a specific number or it's not that. So you can't have half a person or a third of a car. It's a specific number of people that you can count or a specific number of cars or something that you can specifically count. Whereas continuous data would be, say, the heights of people or the weights of athletes, something that's measurable, something that's on a continuous, a height in inches, in feet, in meters, centimeters, weight in pounds, grams, stuff like that. Something that's on a measurable scale is continuous. Discrete, again, is just a number that you can count, whereas continuous is the amount that's measurable.